Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable
and
Access.
Welcome to another great episode of Foxborough Central. I am Bob Hickey. You heard the man, and I'm so glad that you've taken a little bit of time to join me and my guests as we talk about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxborough truly the gem of Norfolk County. And speaking of people, I'm here with a couple of good friends of mine, and hopefully are good friends of yours and well known to our community. Steve Drew and Cindy Hadadruth. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Steve.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. And you are normally here on my program to talk about such wonderful community events as Foxborough Founders Day, and you're still intimately involved with that this year, leading it again.
Yes, we are.
And it doesn't matter what year you're actually watching this, because I'm sure that Steve and Cindy are going to be leaders with our Foxborough Founders Day. But we're not here to talk about Founders Day. No, we're here to talk about something completely different. Last year, when I was having a chat with Cindy, she made mention of a vegan lifestyle, vegan cooking. And me being your typical dumb and slightly overweight, maybe not slightly, American male, I, of course, poo-pooed it, but then as I'm thinking, I said, these are good people, and they're intelligent people, and they're fun people, so let's learn a little bit about it. So my interest now becomes your program. So we're here to learn a little bit about vegan cooking. And what are we going to cook today? What are you going to teach me?
Well, today I'm going to make a sweet potato chili, a little twist on the normal version with the beef and all the rest of it. I'm going to make it with sweet potatoes instead.
Excellent. Everybody likes sweet potatoes?
I hope so.
All right.
I should have asked, Bob.
And sweet potatoes are vegan?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yep.
And before we even start, the definition of vegan is?
An easy definition would be anything with eyes or a mother. So any dairy, which comes from a cow, beef that comes from an animal, venison, chicken, eggs, all of that.
Honey.
Honey is actually technically non-vegan.
Right, okay.
So, but there are some vegans that will bend the rules on that.
Because the bees have eyes.
Right, and it does have a certain nutritional value that you can't get anywhere else.
Okay. But that's a down and dirty definition of vegan.
It is.
Okay. So we're going to have a vegan chili with no beef, presumably, because cows have eyes.
Correct.
And are you telling me this is going to be good? Because, I like my chili.
I'll let your face tell the story when we're all done and you get your chance to eat it.
All right. His mouth to your eyes is my witness. All right, everybody. Let's start cooking. And you gave me the recipe over here.
Yeah, you can tell me what I need to do next. How's
I'm going to
that?
tell you, well, this will be a first. I've never told Steve what to do at any point in our last 20 years. But let's start now. So, sweet potato chili, and you'll have the recipe up on the screen at some point. But we're going to start off with some pieces of this recipe that I suspect you're not going to use. So the first item is olive oil.
I'm going to skip the olive oil today.
And why is that?
Well, olive oil, any of the oils, I have to be very careful with my cholesterol. So nutritionally, I want to stay away from anything that's got the capacity to elevate my cholesterol. I've got a medical condition where I can't use the statins that most people use.
Well, a lot of people have high cholesterol.
Right.
Okay, so, and I'm sure that at a macro level, we all have to accept or believe that, okay, a vegan lifestyle would, promote good health. It's a healthy lifestyle. That's one of the reasons why we do it.
Right.
But you're talking about a specific issue of cholesterol.
Right. My issue was that I became challenged with high cholesterol levels in my mid-late 40s and started to use the medications that were prescribed by the doctor, and it was very successful for a couple of years. And then, unfortunately, I had a reaction to the statins, which is what is actually, I'm not a doctor, so my understanding is that is the component of the
That's
medication.
What makes the medication work.
Right, makes it work. For me, I can't use that any longer. So knowing that my cholesterol level is going to take off if I can't use the statins, I needed to find another way out. For that, for me, it was let's try this vegan diet. Let's see what happens. It seemed to make sense. Was new to both of us. Cindy brought it up and said, I want you to try this. And she's important enough for me to give it a try and stick around a little longer. So we did. We're coming up on almost 5 years now we've been doing this.
Really?
No medications at all. My cholesterol is managed well within limits. Over 50 now. My doctor's happy with my numbers, and I don't see a reason to stop.
Okay. Well, if we don't see a reason to stop, let's start.
All right.
So sweet potato chili, I've got your typical chili ingredients of onions, 1.5 sweet onions. Did you bring onions?
I did. Let's get a couple of those diced up, and then we'll hurry up and get them in the pan here and start making some good smells.
Okay. So you say you started this 5 years ago.
We did. Coming up on 5 years. It's been
How difficult was it?
It was a challenge in the beginning. I mean, I'm a blockhead. I really didn't want to necessarily go for it.
So I'm going to give you a little space here.
There we go.
Hey,
And
Bob.
we all washed our hands nicely before this meal. So
We did.
are,
Bob, it's as difficult as eating whatever his wife made for him.
Well, that's true.
there is that.
If it's
So
coming to the table, I'm going to eat it.
I guess the buy-in had to come on your side. And in talking to you, you seem very educated in the whole, everything that goes into veganism, being a vegan lifestyle. How did you get started with this?
I started, basically because of his health and having two very close people to me die from heart disease. It's very suddenly, and he was telling me what his numbers were, and they were, cholesterol reaching close to 300.
You didn't want to see that happen again.
And I'm like, I want to go through this again. And so, I suggested, that we try a 30-day trial on a vegan lifestyle, and he agreed. 30 days. All right, I'll do 30 days. And so we did 30
That's
days.
how most salespeople get you to buy into it.
Exactly.
Just
She's a
try
great
to get a
salesperson.
money-back guarantee.
And so
Come on down the Fast Eddies.
So we did it for 30 days, and the first 30 days, of course, are the hardest.
Yeah.
And once we get the 30 days out of the way, it was like, why would we go back? We felt awesome.
Really?
Right.
Compared to how
we felt awesome.
we felt awesome.
So it was something that you did for the entire family?
Well, it was just for he and I, and then my daughter and my son, the younger ones that were home at the time, said, well, I'll eat whatever you're making, and it was all good.
Yeah, the
It's all
curiosity
good
factor.
food. And one of the things about this too that helps us is that you got used to eating the same food all the time. You go to your favorites. You go to the supermarket, you buy in, say, your chicken and your potatoes,
Sure.
and your this and that and everything else. This forced us to try different recipes so that we could, we're not going to eat the same meal all the time. So, what we're showing you today is one of our favorites.
I think that's one of the, go ahead, you start, and then what's next on our list? We've got the onions all diced, and now we have 4 garlic cloves.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these on first while we do some of the prep.
When
So
you say on, that
on
means...
we're going to do some cooking here. So we're going to use
that is hot.
It is hot. So we're
That is
gonna
hot. I have hotted that up.
try not to burn ourselves on this.
There you go.
And I'll bring the pan over here. Now we talked about not using any oil, so instead of that, I'm going to use some vegetable broth
Some vegetable broth.
as a substitute, right?
And you were using vegetable broth as opposed to chicken broth or beef broth because...
As opposed to oil.
Well, as opposed to oil instead of the other broths, again, they're not going to be vegan if they come
Because
from.
chicken broth has eyes and cows have eyes. Okay.
Where does it come?
All right,
Simple.
you're the blockhead, I'm a blockhead.
Yeah,
All right, I get it.
exactly.
All right, so vegan, no eyes, got it.
Okay.
No mothers, no eyes.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm not sure what the bee's mother would be, but I guess the queen bee, so
There you
so
go.
we'll go with that.
So we'll get this in here. We'll get this sautéing. We'll get
One,
this.
yeah.
Why don't you dice up the?
Oh,
We're going
you're
to trust
give
you
me
with a knife, Bob.
Well, you're a brave man.
No knuckles, okay?
Okay, so I'm going to cut up 2 bell peppers, and I like color. Everybody likes color in there. How? This is just chili, right? So this is good
Yep,
enough.
yeah.
This is the way we want it. All right.
Would you like me to do something with the sweet potatoes?
Yeah, actually, if you could get those started, we're going to cube those up about 2-inch squares, something like that.
Okay.
Okay, so for sweet potato chili, for this, and how many servings is this for?
This is, we'll probably get about 8 to 10 out
For
of it.
us 3 and all my volunteers here.
I think we're all going to get a good taste.
So while I'm going to cut up the bell peppers, quick question on the potatoes. They look like they're already cooked, which is great, and I think that's probably necessary. Is it important to pre-cook those?
No, we pre-cooked them just for the show.
Okay.
But at home, we would dice them up fresh. And one of the nice things about it, the longer they sit, the softer they get, the sweeter they get. But also, they, the flavor of the chili just takes on, the flavors so well when they've sat
And you know
for a
what,
little
I
bit
think,
longer.
Yeah, especially overnight.
and that's true of any
chili,
chili,
right.
I think we know. So that there's nothing really different here in the preparation of this chili.
Bob, I'm going to ask you to pass me that garlic. I want to get that in.
You asked me to pass the garlic, and I'm giving you 4 garlic cloves already minced up.
You got it.
All right. And, everybody loves fresh garlic, but you can also buy minced garlic at the store. And all of these ingredients are available locally, I imagine?
Absolutely.
So you didn't go out to Nevada or
I wish.
mail order to India for any of this?
No, all of this was local stuff. Trader Joe's.
Trader
or
Joe's and Stop and Shop here in
or-
Foxborough.
yeah.
Great.
All the local folks that we Love to shop.
So vegan cooking is not, while it sounds exotic, it's not truly exotic. It's just a decision that you're making. And is it more a substitute for existing things, or is it just a whole different mindset?
Well, you just are mindful as to where your ingredients are coming from that you're using. We do try to, for nutritional value, to stay as close as we can to the natural state.
Okay.
As I think most people are trying to.
And I think Cindy would probably mirror that. Local is always better than out of town, and so local also means fresher.
Absolutely. So we're just letting this cook down a little bit here.
Okay.
Letting the onions get a little translucent. And
Sure.
You know, another take on what vegan is, Bob, is, you know, Steve and I, we eat plants.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the opposite of it doesn't have a mother and eyes and things like that. Everything that we eat it's a plant of some sort.
Okay.
And
And that includes soy, because soy is a plant, and that's
Right.
what is the ingredient tofu. So I imagine that your diet is high in tofu.
you know what? We eat tofu maybe once a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Sometimes twice, but that's
twice. It's not a big thing for us.
That's interesting, because I think one of my preconceived notions is that vegetarian, vegan, the only alternative is salads and tofu, and that's not true.
portobello mushroom caps. We've got a great way of
Everybody
making
loves
those, and
portobello mushrooms.
Oh yeah.
We'll have to have another
absolutely.
cooking show, because I love portobello mushrooms.
Bring them on.
You know, I was thinking about those for today, but I'll have to.
Well,
you know,
maybe we
need a
talk
grill.
about Foxborough Founders Day next time.
You know, we
make
can.
a
You know,
combo
we can
show.
do it in the
There you
spring
go.
outside on the grill.
Ah, you
Those
know.
look good, Bob. I'm going to actually get those in the pan right now. So.
Okay. See, I love doing this show. This is why you should be a volunteer too. Should I just put them right in?
Go for it.
All right. So we were talking earlier about,
Thank you.
before we do that, is there any other ingredient I need to get you right now? Or are we
No,
good?
the sweet potatoes will be up very soon.
Okay.
They're ready.
So when you converted over to this lifestyle 5 years ago, how did you have to get an education? Did you just look it up on the internet? How does one make this leap?
Well, Cindy actually did, and she'd be the better one to talk about that experience. She did do a college course, an online course for it,
Okay.
and got a real good background on it, some history, and it certainly led to the investigation of another bunch of books and series. And there's, it's not as untypical today in the society as you think. There's a lot of
becoming
people out there.
more-
Yeah, plant-based. People see it as healthier. Some people do it because they're for animal rights and things like that. Whatever the reason, ultimately they're eating healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what we love and enjoy is a typical traditional American diet is so full of fats and things like that that in our later years, unfortunately, we're also having to take in a lot of medications and things like that to offset that lifestyle. For me, I'd rather get in front of the curve and stop it before it happens.
You know, it's an interesting point you make about the medications, because the lifestyle begets the medications, and the medications enable the lifestyle, as opposed to an alternative is simply not to do whatever. I had an issue with acid reflux many years ago, and doctor prescribed me medication for it, and I saw the price tag on it. I said, well, you know, an alternative to this would be to just not drink tequila anymore and eat fewer spicy foods from the Mexican restaurant. And that took care of it also. So, and I'm not a genius. I just said, that's a lot of money to spend. So I did it, not for altruistic, I'm just cheap.
Well,
But
we
so
all-
for whatever reason, animal rights or healthy lifestyle, or just because we're cheap, there are some benefits.
Right, absolutely.
And talk about cheap. This is a very inexpensive way to eat. You know, so.
It's not more expensive?
No, it's
get
far
those
less
in the front.
expensive. You
Far
know.
less expensive
Far-
because why? I would think that because they're more exotic and harder to find, it would be more expensive.
And really, if you just go to the produce section of your supermarket,
So this is really all just available up at Trader Joe's and Stop and Shop.
pretty much.
And I only use
Yeah.
those names because we're here in Foxborough, and those are our two options. So I'm just
Right.
trying to show that we don't have to go to Timbuktu.
Every now and then, there's an ingredient that we need that
Mm-hmm.
you just need to, like saffron, and you know, something like that. And so you
But
need to
everybody
go to a
likes it.
specialty store to find. You know,
Which means
something
everybody
different.
likes to trip down to Providence or to the North End in Boston. And it's a good time to do that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. So it looks like our chili is cooking up nicely.
Yeah, it's coming together. I'm going to throw some beans in here that we have. I have some black
and
beans
and you
and
pre-drained
pinto
those.
beans.
That's
I
why
did,
they're there.
yep,
But they're just
exactly.
right out of the can.
Exactly. Give them a little rinse, and in they go.
And so those are a can of pinto beans and a can of black beans.
2 cans of pinto beans,
Two cans of pinto beans.
1 can of black.
You're not following my recipe, Steve.
Yeah, I've done it a couple
You're
of
giving me a little
times.
emerald action there. A little boom.
Got to think on our feet today.
Okay, that's all right.
You know, Bob, while he's doing that, I'm going to make a salsa.
Ah,
Oh, that'd be great. So I'll keep this
So-
going.
well then,
I
I'm gonna-
can move or I can.
Why don't we have Steve come towards me,
That'll work. I'll move this down.
and then I will hand you, Miss Cindy, anything that you need.
Okay, first I need that bowl.
You need the bowl. I will give you the bowl, Steve.
I'll take this.
And then I need those 3 cans in front of you.
3 cans.
Yep,
Can of black beans.
yep.
Can of organic diced tomatoes and fire roasted, but organic.
Exactly.
But organic doesn't necessarily mean vegan, or does organic always mean vegan?
Typically, no, organic doesn't necessarily mean vegan because there's organic chicken.
And you need this as well?
I do.
Do you have a can opener down there?
It's open.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I need the cumin and
You
the
need
limes.
the cumin. And this is cumin, and cumin goes into salsa?
Yes.
I don't think I knew that.
Does today.
It does today.
I need the limes and the juicer.
I'm impressed.
Thank you. I can only do 2, which doesn't really mean juggling, it just means silly tossing.
We'd be
So-
chasing them across the floor if I tried that.
I'm also going to give her a cutting board, or she has a cutting board. Does she need a
I
knife?
have a cutting board. I have a knife.
All right. Then I'm
Yes.
going to go through the recipe. Cindy is making a black bean and corn salsa, which has 2 cans of black beans, or in this case, 1 can of black beans, a can of white shoe peg corn. What is shoe peg corn?
It's
Is
just
that
a
hard to find? I've never heard of it before.
Well,
White.
it's
shoe peg corn.
crispier.
It's crispier.
White and it's
sweeter.
very sweet.
White shoe peg corn. Okay. Made by the Green Giant. Ho, ho, ho.
I can also
And a can of
use-
diced tomatoes, or 4 cups of small diced fresh Roma tomatoes. Very good. 2 limes, juice, and 1 tablespoon of cumin. Fantastic. That seems relatively easy to make. That doesn't seem vegan at all. It just seems like regular salsa. Mm-hmm. But I thought.
So how much
vegan
cumin
was-
am I supposed to use?
You're supposed to use 1 tablespoon,
All right,
unless you like it, in which case you can use more than 1 tablespoon.
right.
And if you don't like it, you use less. I know this because I'm a professional
Are you a foodie?
uncook. Yeah, I'm a foodie, right?
All right. So one of the things that I like to do is to get the juice to flow a little bit better is to roll the limes to soften it
Really?
up.
Very good.
Yep.
I'll have to remember that trick also. For those of us who like our margaritas fresh.
All right.
That's right.
The question I had before, which I was getting to, is how difficult was it to get the family to buy into this? Because, and again, I know that, and I have a family, and I have a wonderful wife that looks out for my health, and she does the primary cooking, and she does a great job of cooking healthy for us. But how difficult was it for you to get your family, your large family, to buy into this whole lifestyle?
Well, at the time when we started, it was, who was home? My daughter, and she always ate off my plate since she was born, so that was easy. Then, and then my son, Robbie, who loved eating healthy, and so they would just eat whatever I made.
So they were a part of it.
Very, very simple.
Excellent.
And at the first it's a novelty. It's different, so we'll try it. Or it's different. I can't do that. But we were very lucky that they tried. And then, it's a couple of the others said, I'm not going to eat that way. But then, you know what? The food tastes really good, and you're not really missing anything. So, I think that overall they're willing to try. But then you have some that, for different lifestyle reasons. Like my oldest likes to work out, and so he feels a stronger need to get animal protein for, building his muscles.
Sure.
And so everybody has a different reason for what they're doing. So we cook for ourselves, And if they want it, they're welcome to have it. If they don't want it, they can cook for themselves.
Okay. So you're not militant about it. There's not a.
Right, we don't have small children anymore in the house. They're all adults, so, you know.
And there's nothing about this that will hurt anybody.
Right.
So, you know, there's
So it's all
other
good.
dietary issues like nut allergies or needing to be gluten-free. That's different, and we would accommodate for something like that. But we eat nuts, we eat gluten, and, you know, Vital Wheat Protein is a gluten-based protein, which is
Because gluten is anything that's wheat-based.
yeah.
Somebody
So,
with celiac or something
I don't know.
like
I
that.
don't know much about it, but
I mean, there's some things that you have to be careful about, and so we would make accommodations for anybody like that's visiting that we know that might have a dietary need. You know,
you're
for
putting
something
the
like that.
lime into your salsa mix, which looks
Yes.
very nice.
I'm actually going to start adding. I've got a couple cans of tomato sauce here. I'm going to get going to the chili.
Okay, which is good for any chili, I would imagine. Well, there is white chili, I understand. So you are putting in tomato sauce and then add seasoning. What type of seasonings do you use?
We're going to use.
Oh, I see everybody's happy helper.
There
Chili
you go.
powder.
Chili powder. We're making chili after all.
So far, nothing you're doing seems unreasonable or outrageous.
Nope. And we're going to get some cumin in here as well.
Okay.
That seems to be the spice of the day.
Is there a spoon down there?
I have a spoon. Would you
Oh.
like a big spoon or a little spoon?
big spoon, please.
A big spoon for you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Leave those there. And just get these
I
out of
will
the way
take
a
your-
little
I'll
bit.
take
Perfect.
those.
And I'm going to take the measuring spoons, and I think it's a tablespoon. You got the recipe there, Bob.
It is.
Tablespoon
it
of
is
chili.
A tablespoon of chili powder and a tablespoon of cumin.
Cumin, I guess, is a
Cumin.
good pronunciation for
All right. And again, this is just right off the shelf. Chili
And-
What
powder.
do you need?
it. Which one of us has the
Cumin.
cumin? Could you
I
pass
have.
that
You know
down?
what? I have the cumin
Awesome.
because we like
Thank
cumin.
you. We do.
Well, after today, I think I like cumin. So
Some of the good aromas start to come out of this too.
Unfortunately, we don't have smell-o-vision, but you're
Right.
absolutely right. I'm really enjoying this. So, I'm sure
Again,
that-
it's a little different. It's a little different flavor than you're going to get with a traditional chili with your meats and all that in it, but it's
sweet
delicious in its own
potatoes
way.
is a fascinating idea because, and I love sweet potatoes myself, but the idea of making it into a chili, that's pretty intriguing.
Right. So typically I let this go for, half hour at home, just simmer on the stove.
Yep.
Let the sweet potatoes kind of break down and get nice and soft and blend in. And
Well, let's let that cook a little bit and we'll chat a little
You
more.
got
So, if I wanted to learn more about vegan, is veganism the right word?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to.
Veganism is fine.
Great. So,
Yeah.
if I want to learn more about veganism, how would I do that?
Well,
Do I have to take a college course?
you don't. You don't, but you can if you want to.
I don't want to.
Okay.
What do I want to do though?
So I would start with there's a documentary that I like and a book that goes along with it called Forks Over Knives.
Forks over knives.
And it's got like 5 of the most world-renowned doctors that promote a plant-based diet and the reasons why. It's a cancer cure. It's a diabetic cure. It's a heart disease cure. So there's a lot of things that this type of lifestyle will help with, or multiple things all at the same time. Skin, skin complexions, rashes, things like that, as well as just not feeling good, feeling sluggish.
digestive issues.
Yep, digestive issues.
Michael Moore had the movie many years ago, and it was pretty over the top, particularly the beginning where he had the feller overeating on the McDonald's and then either pretending or really.
Supersize me?
Supersize me.
Yeah.
And, clearly it was a setup, but I think the underlying message was completely valid in that we as Americans have a diet that is not necessarily what it has to be, it's what we want it to be. And the decisions we make do not necessarily equate what we have to eat and to live. And so this is more of a lifestyle decision that has the benefits of lower cholesterol, healthier lifestyle, and the medical benefits that you just mentioned.
Exactly. And
So the food itself isn't the cure, but it's the lifestyle overall. Which is what you just told me.
Well,
Which shows I'm paying attention.
basically the food does become the cure because you've eliminated the things that were causing the problems.
Right.
You know, how a certain amount of protein can be a trigger for cancer to grow, and how taking away that protein could cause that to stop and to have it stop growing. You know, the proven studies, the China study by Caldwell, T. Colin Campbell, and then Caldwell B. Esselstyn of the Cleveland Clinic on heart disease. And there's, you know, like I said, about 5 majors in this Forks Over Knives. They also have a cookbook that goes with it. It makes it really simple. They give you a shopping list. This is what you do. You go into your kitchen. And these people will show you how they've helped transform people's lives in this.
I don't know if you're familiar with the China study or not, but there was a book about this thick, and it was all about a bunch of doctors that went over to Asia.
China.
And China, exactly. And they try to figure out, from a medical standpoint, scientific standpoint, why certain parts of the country had predominant diseases, where other parts of the country, it didn't exist.
Right.
Different types of cancers, heart diseases, and things like that. And what they found was in the more affluent parts of China, where they were eating more of a traditional American type diet with a lot of meats and dairy and things like that, the rates of cancer were high, much, you know, much to the amount that we have here in the U.S. And when they went to parts of the country that were more poor, where they were living off of what they could grow, they found that it didn't exist, the cancers, the heart disease, and things like that.
Which of
So,
course equates to a vegan lifestyle.
brought their findings back and played with it in the in the lab, and you know, let modern day science come out with a theory that, hey, if you eat right, you can avoid some of these things. So
Well,
these are some of the things we've learned along the way here, going through it, and
I think
I'm sure there's a lot more
these
learning
are
to
all
do.
great messages. And if people want to learn more, they can, of course, go to Amazon.com. They can go to the internet and look up, what did you call it?
Forks Over Knives.
Forks Over Knives. Or I'm
Great
sure that
documentary.
people can also look up our friend Cindy, who is the owner of Cindy's
Diamond and Jewelry Gallery.
Diamond Jewelry right here on Central Street, next to our studios here at 28 Central Street in beautiful Foxborough. Steve, this looks so good. We're running out of time, which is perfect because that chili is
We're gonna
hot
dig
and
in.
rocking. Let's dig in. And I see you brought chips also. Were those vegan chips?
They're vegan chips. They're
And you
made
bought
out of
those at
corn.
Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
All right, serve us up there, my friend.
Here we
There's
go.
There's a plate over there.
All right, we can do that.
Look at that.
Yep, that's awesome.
This is actually really good cold too. You can eat it warm, cold.
You want to make that one up for the camera because that looks
Sure.
good. And then, I'll take a little salsa. Gotta have a chip. Gotta have some salsa.
We'll get some of that on there for you.
Serve me up. And as we leave, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch us here on Foxborough Central as we do a little vegan cooking. If you want to see this or any other episode, please log on to fcatv.org, click on the videos link, and find Foxborough Central. On behalf of all the volunteers here, I have enjoyed my time with Cindy and Steve,
Thank you, Bob.
the Drews, who are our vegan cooking experts here in Foxborough. But before I say thank you, let's try some. Have a great day, Foxborough.
Thank you.
Good stuff.